Former North Carolina Supreme Court Justice Bob Orr says the plan has three elements. One, address the security of election workers. Two, establish principles of fairness and integrity for candidates. And finally, tour the state in hopes of reassuring voters that the system works.
People need to realize the whole foundation of democracy is the election of our leaders.
In a virtual interview with WXII 12 News, former North Carolina Supreme Court Justice Bob Orr addresses the concerns of those who continue to believe the 2020 election was stolen.
I would say to my friends, who are Republicans or unaffiliated or the Green Party, whatever, the 2020 election was probably the most secure in the history of this country.
Or a Republican and former Charlotte Mayor Jennifer Roberts, a Democrat, will co-chair the effort to restore confidence in the state's election system. Is it troubling, though, the fact that we need to have this kind of an effort at this point in time?
Yeah, it is troubling. It really is. I mean, what we saw on January 6th was, in my fairly long life, was just unfathomable. I mean, you just couldn't believe that was actually happening.
Judge Orr says that judges appointed by former President Trump found no serious evidence of fraud. And those who continue to undermine the 2020 election are somehow serving a political purpose. I asked him if his effort to restore voter confidence raises more questions about election integrity. Does that not add fuel to the fire of those who are claiming the process is broken?
The dialogue about election problems is going to continue regardless of whether the Carter Center is involved or not. People have to understand that the system works, and that's how democracy is supposed to work. We're not like Russia or China, North Korea, in how their systems work.
Concerns over election integrity and threats of more violence continue with the 2022 elections less than 100 days away.
Hopefully, we won't have any incidents of violence or intimidations or threats, because democracy cannot survive in that kind of environment.
And the essential mandate of your group is to ensure the public that the election process is safe and secure?
Well, not only to assure them of that, but to give them information and an opportunity to learn for themselves that we have a great election system in North Carolina, run by Democrats, Republicans, and a host of people's friends and neighbors who work the elections. And that's why we ought to have confidence in it.
The group behind this project plans to tour the state, visiting all 14 of North Carolina's congressional districts, with a scheduled stop in North Carolina's 6th congressional district here in the Triad on September the 28th. In Greensboro, I'm Bill O'Neill, WXII 12 News.